Dumb,
Cool,
and weird.
podcast.
It's fucking crazy though to think that how violent society was in the 60s, because all the baby boomers will say like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And you're just like, oh yeah, because lynch mobs in the South weren't scary.
It's kind of like when we did the 90s episode last week. I look at the 90s from rose tinted glasses because I grew up in the 90s, but they grew up in the 60s
true.
as kids, so they see as like, ooh, free love, Rolling Stone, flower child. That's how they see it.
I remember an older woman saying this, but not like realizing like how bad it actually sounded when she said it's like, back in my day, when you were acting bad, my parents would drive me through that part of town, and you knew what she was saying.
Yeah.
And she was like, and your parents would threaten to leave you there. And it was like, Jesus Christ, you should not be around people anymore.
So her parents would threaten her with abandoning
their child in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
of
in the bad part of town.
The bad part of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really acceptable. Like just leaving your kids somewhere and saying, "Okay, well, fuck it."
Yeah, and what's more interesting, I think, is the haha. This is funny because it's that part of town.
Yeah, like it's one big joke. I mean, that's probably why baby boomers are so like strange, because I've done research because baby boomers say that we're the most privileged generation on the planet. But when you really look at it, the Great Generation was the most hardest working generation on the planet. Mm-hmm. And their kids, who are the baby boomers, were the most spoiled and privileged people on the planet because they were given everything.
The greatest generation fought in World War II.
Yes, yep. And after all that hard work, they built up one of the best economies in the world. It doesn't matter if it's the U.S. or anywhere over the world. It's one of the best economies in the world, and then they all reap the benefits of it. Like the baby boomers reap the benefits of that generation's amount of hard work. And I only know this because my grandfather was a part of the Great Generation. He was born in 2026.
Yeah, my grandfather was born in 27. He was part of the same ilk, but he wasn't exactly a great guy.
My grandparents on my mom's side were born in the 30s. My grandparents on my dad's side were born in the 20s. Yeah, they saw some horrible shit because they were in my grandparents in Greece. And Italy had to deal with the war.
Yeah.
When they were growing up. I mean, there's a lot of horror stories related to that.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you had the Greek Civil War. So that was another thing where neighbors pitted against neighbor.
Yeah.
So you have to think about like how structurally sound you are mentally to come back from something like that, because you're at least like when my dad's parents were going through it, they were young adults, but my mom's family was young kids going through the Second World War.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, my mom told me a depressing story about what happened to my grandmother's sister, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, actually, my grandmother, who was in Germany at the time, her father was not a great person either. He was a pedophile as well as a guy that fought with Germany in World War I.
Jesus Christ.
So, that's two things. Then I'm pretty sure he was also a Nazi sympathizer, and that's three things.
Being a Nazi sympathizer is so not out of the ordinary, though, just for the time period.
Or for now, even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to check out more of our stuff, go to www.dumbcoolweird.com. You'll find our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon link if you want to support us. Also, be sure to check out our merch store. And if you're interested in being on our podcast, you can find a link on our website so you can reach out to us and tell us if you want to talk to us about something that's really weird, dumb, or cool. We'd be glad to hear from you. Hope you will stay tuned for the next weird ass episodes we got. Thank you.